We are now at 69% completion in evolution mode. Nice. And I have decided, after doing some thinking about what event it is I want to do next, I'm going to do the Class 2 tournament event next. Just because, well, I figured after having a brief amount of struggling with the 911-993 trophy, I decided it would be easier for me to get the Class 2 tournament trophy first. And we have a bit less money than we had going into this segment, and part of the reason for that is because I've spent my money on another car that I will be using for the upcoming event, but I've decided the car I'm going to use for the next event, after finding out there were no used cars reasonable enough for me to use, I've decided the car I'm going to use for this, once I can find it, will officially be this. The 2000 Porsche 911 Carrera 4 996. The car that I will officially be using for our penultimate tournament event of the game, and in terms of what colour I'm going to use, well, actually, come to think of it, I've not raced in red for a while now, so yeah, fuck it, I'll get this car as it is. And we are now just under 650 grand. But anyways, this is the car we are using for the Class 2 tournament event, which is basically just a bunch of Porsche 911s, and the tracks we are going to include Black Forest, the French Seaside, Downtown, Lighthouse Cliffs, and Garden Village. And hopefully none of these will be night races, with the exception of Black Forest and Downtown, because I'll be okay with those. So yeah, that's our entry lineup. This, by the way, is the car we are using. It's in perfect condition, as I would have anticipated, and it's basically one of the best cars we can use, so that's what I'm going for. And of course, as you might have guessed, I am going to be doing the advanced races for most of these, because, well, I figure if I'm able to get some reasonable wins out of the way first, then I should be okay. And oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to put the settings on this thing at stock, basically as they were before I did the last event. So let's now get on with the race itself. So it is in the daytime, and it is also snowing, and we're all driving 911 Carreras in the advanced races, except for saying I am driving the exception of the bunch, which is the 911 Carrera 4. I'm also pretty sure they'll be using the 996 model, not the 993 model, which is basically the model I'm using, and I'll be amazed if they aren't. Apparently they aren't. 3, 2, 1, go! Well, I think that pretty much means I have got probably the best car in the field as a result now, which means I'm probably going to outpace my competition pretty easily here, the way I see it, since none of them are using the older model. But anyways, yeah. I think once this race really gets going, that's probably when I'm going to start pulling away from the AI behind me. And I now know that nobody is using the newer model. They're all using the older 993 model, which is interesting. But anyways, starting to slowly pull away from the pack behind me now. It is clear to say that I definitely have the best car in the field, and it looks as though from here this is basically going to be me and my typical hotshot tricks of basically just taking the lead and then pulling away. And that's a wall. Well, at least I can say the damage won't be too severe because I am basically pulling away from the pack behind me anyway. I also figured it was necessary for me to make this an easy sweep, so... sorry, I guess? Although I'm probably not that sorry because, well... the previous event I did, it was actually quite hard for me to win, but I somehow did it. At the end of the day. Eventually. And I am not doing a good job right now because I just basically face planted myself into the wall, and now it looks as though this is where the choking begins. Unless I can manage to get my head back in the game. Hopefully I will.
It's the final lap.
And it looks as though I have a clear pace advantage over the rest of the field now. Although I honestly wish I would stop hitting these bollards that are on both sides of me. But at the moment at least, all things considered, we are doing very well at the moment. I still hate how whenever you push in the top D-pad button, it just activates the horn mechanism. I have tried to see if I can turn that off, and annoyingly there is no way to turn it off, let alone change it. And that's definitely one area they could have included in the control mechanism, but sadly, however, they didn't. Anyways, pulling away now from the rest of the field. Looks as though I'm basically going to be chomping up victory after victory. I might even get a clean sweep before too long, but we'll wait and see.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
So there we go. One race down, and I won it by basically 20 seconds over Rage 2. Stephanie finished in third, and Shock finished in last, as I was 11.67 seconds faster than the next best lap time. I basically figured it was, you know, necessary for me to make this easier than it would have been had I not chosen to use the Porsche 911 Carrera 4 996, and so far at least it looks as though this is going to be pretty easy. And the other 911 Carrera 4, well, one of the two actually, won the Session 1 race, and that was Moose. Anyways, onto the French seaside, and where I don't think weather is going to be a problem. Checking for repairs. Oh, that's a bit of damage. How much is it going to be for me to get this ship fixed? Yeah, okay. And nice and clear, and once again it is in the daytime, so let's continue our domination, I guess. As we are now 1 race down and still have 4 to go. And apparently it's Buzz in the 911 Carrera 4S who holds the overall race record.
3, 2, 1, go!
And trying to make sure I can pull off a clean pass. Had to nudge him just a little bit there, but that was fairly clean from my end. And I keep forgetting that I'm getting distracted by the engine notes of the AI, and I just completely overshot the roundabout. And so far, things are actually going pretty well, considering everything that's happened so far. I'm also hopeful in saying I won't be quite as prone to crashing in this thing than I was before. Except for when I hit that fire hydrant. I'll make that an exception. And 1 lap down. Okay, so 1 lap down here at the French seaside. I am slowly pulling away from the AI now, as we are starting lap 2. I figured it was necessary for me to make this easier, and that's why I basically bought the best car I could get in the Class 2 category. Some people may think I've probably gone over the top with this one, but either way, I do want to at least prove how easy certain parts of this game can be, if you get it right, and hopefully that's precisely what I've managed to do. Anyways, 2 laps down and still 1 to go.
It's the final lap.
Yeah, that's quite deceiving to see how much deeper that part of the chevron barriers are. It's a little bit deceiving, but either way, I don't think it puts me off too much. Still cannot manage to avoid the overshoot at the roundabout. But anyway, I'm now up by the pier again. I can pretty much see Monte Carlo from here. I think I probably am in Monte Carlo. Hitting a top speed there of 172 miles an hour as we are coming through these final corners now and on the home stretch, and it is going to be 2 wins in a row for the 996.
Congratulations, you've won the race.
So no track record set, but either way I don't need to because, well, I am just showing total concentration at the moment. And well, I figured whilst I'm here, and because my car is actually looking pretty decent after that run, I might as well see if I can get some thumbnail evidence whilst I'm here. Just figured it would be easier for me to get it over with nice and quickly. And then, once I am done taping this evidence, we can move on to our next race. Hopefully. But yes. So far, so good. That's all I have to say for now. Oh yeah, that was the fire hydrant I hit earlier. But it's fine. I think that was about the only thing I really crashed into. Except maybe one or two bollards. Honestly, couldn't say which ones unless I look and see which ones I did or didn't hit. But yeah, aside from that, this has actually been a fairly clean race, to be completely honest with you. Okay. And won by nearly 15 seconds in the end. So, it is fair to say everything is going by just fine for now. And I now have 2 wins on the board in 2 races. Can I keep this momentum up, I wonder? I certainly hope so. And Moose has won the second race. Moose also won the seaside race just as I did, so both of us must be driving the same car, as we are now onto downtown. And you know, that does surprise me. Considering I did hit that fire hydrant in the previous race, the only thing I've really got to prepare for this race are the brakes. Well, I think they can probably take a little more wear and tear through the streets of downtown. I'm going to assume these are the streets of downtown California, because I think this is meant to be Death Valley in terms of what desert it is. But anyway.
3, 2, 1, go!
It is go for race 3 of the Class 2 tournament in the modern era. I already have 2 wins on the board, and it looks as though, pending I do not make any serious mistakes from here, I will likely score 3 wins in a row. I do now know my way around the downtown circuit. It is fair to say it's a bit easier for me to get my head around now than it was before. And because I think this is the state of California, I'm now going to assume the city over there is San Francisco. But anyways, lap 2 here at the downtown circuit, as we start up the lap with 2 right-handers and then quickly follow this up with a left-hander, as we are now heading into the housing estate section. And just stepping early on the brakes here. Don't want to cause too much damage whilst I'm here. Just making sure that I flow through these corners.
You've beaten the lap record for this track. It's the final lap.
And what do you know? I set a new lap record. Although that probably shouldn't surprise me, considering I am doing this nice and slowly and just making sure that I flow with where the track goes, and just making sure that I don't hit anything whilst I'm here. Although I probably hit 1 or 2 things, but either way, this car at the moment is just handling beautifully. I honestly don't care who you are. This is probably one of the best cars I've driven in this game so far. I mean, it's just handling so beautifully, and that's just the way I want it to be.
You beat the track record. Congratulations. You've won the race.
It should also be worth mentioning, okay, so same results as in the previous 2 races. Looks as though Rage 2 is going to be my main contender. Stephanie looks to be holding on to 3rd, and Shock, I think, is pretty content with staying in last. And at the moment, I'm basically just handing the asses of my contenders basically straight to them, because that is just how dominant I've been at this stage. And there's basically no question in saying now how good my 911 Carrera 4 really is. 996. I'm going to assume it must have been Buzz who won the Session 1 race in downtown, because Moose now has only 29 grand. Assumingly, of course. Anyways, just gotta get one more win here, and then I've pretty much clinched the Modern Class 2 tournament. And yeah, might as well repair the brakes whilst I'm here. And we are now going into very British weather under the Lighthouse Cliffs, and where hopefully, whilst I am here, I will not get my ass handed to a wall. I will not have my ass nailed to the wall because of typical British weather, hopefully.
3, 2, 1, go!
And getting a little bit of wheel spin there on the start, but either way, I don't think it should really matter too much because, well, oh, I think the frames are dropping off. There are certain parts here that I don't think my frames are liking at the moment. But anyway. Yeah, my frames are going by very slowly at the moment. I don't know what the issue is. Plus, even if I did, I would not be able to look at what's on my laptop without wrecking myself first, which is basically the one thing I don't want to do. And in saying that, I am now battling for the lead. Have no idea what happened there, but either way, that was not pretty. Can you imagine how much worse this would be if there was traffic in this race? I'd hate to imagine how much worse the situation would be. Although technically the situation is already bad enough because of knowing basically how incensed my frame rates have been for most of this first lap. But either way, it doesn't matter because since I have the superior speed, I still wind up taking the lead at the end of the first lap anyway. Which, had I not made too many mistakes at that point, I probably would have done it anyway. It's nothing collusive, it's just a case of me trying to see if I can somehow get the job done in spite of my frames dropping off in certain areas. I really need to take the lead sooner or later because I do want to make sure that I do somehow win this under my own terms. He basically pinched me into the wall there. Yeah, you really gave me no choice there, mate. You clearly pinched me into the wall there. I think it's also fair to say the AI might have the advantage here. Well, either way, I don't think it should really matter too much because I'm still able to retake the lead at the end of the lap anyway, which is kind of what I was expecting. Although, I am glad to say I did fix the brakes before going into this one because Had I not, then I would just be overshooting every corner, basically. He is not going easy on me today. I can basically guarantee he is not going easy on me. I have no idea how I did not. It was a miracle to say in that one part of the course I did not crash. Well, good thing I won the first 3 races, which gave me the early advantage. Okay, so not doing too badly at the moment. As long as I'm able to finish in second, I'll still get some reasonable points. I can definitely say this race has certainly been more challenging than all the other races have been so far. I would of course like to win as always, but I also know very well that I do have to be smart about this, and I do have to think about the bigger picture. As much as these AI are making me think about not the bigger picture. Although it probably shouldn't matter now because I've basically retaken the lead anyway.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
And I narrowly win it. Oh, okay. So apparently I won that race in the end by just under 6 seconds over Rage 2, and I was 2 seconds off the lap record. Well, whatever. Won by 5.7 seconds in the end, I think. Well, 5.77. 5.77 seconds in the end of that race, to be precise. And it is fair to say, at the moment, things are actually going pretty well, all things considered. But there we go. 4 wins is all I need. And Moose won the Session 1 race, so I've now well and truly clinched the championship with 1 race to go. I'm also hopeful in saying this will be a daytime race, and well, since I've already got the championship, I'm just going to do the novice event because, well, I'm going to win the championship regardless of what happens. I have a 16-point advantage over the field anyway, and, well, I figured I might as well do the Session 1 race since the championship is already clinched. So done all the repairs and don't need to change anything in the setup, everything is fine. And the opponents we are going up against are Edge 2, Buzz and Astro. And well, I figured, why don't I just see if I can do the novice race, so I'm at least guaranteed to not finish last. Which is basically what I want. Anyways, it's a daytime race, so it shouldn't be as terrible as the other one.
3, 2, 1, go!
And just as I thought, someone is driving the same car as me, which shouldn't be a surprise. Which, to be completely honest, should not come as a surprise to me in any way, shape or form whatsoever at all. You know, I did not think those trees were going to be barriers. I really thought for sure I was just going to go straight into those trees, regardless of what happened, and basically just, you know, hang myself on one of those trees. At least that's what I thought was going to happen, but apparently it didn't. And again showing this car's current superiority, and it is fair to say the AI are definitely not going easy on me in this race, as I'm constantly overshooting the corners and they're basically dive bombing me over whatever edges they can get. But anyways, that was not pretty. Okay, I'm now back up into the lead once again, so I keep thinking if I slide into those trees I'm basically just gonna destroy the car whilst I'm at it. Because a lot of the time in the past that is what used to happen. This is one crazy race. But yet somehow it's basically proving to be a grueling test of man and machine over knowing who clearly does have the best car. And probably didn't need to shift up into... Oh, what happened to Edge 2? I mean, he was running in second until we made contact, and now he's basically just way the fuck behind us.
It's the final lap.
I was only a 10th off beating the lap record. That is amazing, in spite of all the damage I have. Can I manage to hold on to the lead? I sincerely hope so. Oh, is that where he is? I did not think he was still stuck there. Jesus Christ. He has not managed to escape the boundaries of that wall. Anyways. So yeah. That was not pretty. Well, at least I can say I had the advantage at the front, which is one thing. Anyways. So something tells me, because this is a daytime race, I might actually get the sweep here. And there we go.
You beat the track record. Congratulations. You've won the race.
Well, at least I set a new track record. I won by 8 seconds in the end over Astro. So Buzz was third in the 911 RS and Edge 2 in the same Porsche 911 Carrera 4 as myself, wound up finishing last. It took him 11 minutes and 41 seconds to finish that race. He was 6 minutes behind the third place car. Jesus Christ. I did not think our skirmish was going to put him that far behind. Although then again, I wasn't the one to blame for that incident. He basically went for a dive bomb that was basically going to wreck someone, if not both of us, and then basically, as a result of me spinning him out, he just completely lost track of where the track was. So there we go. I've got my first clean sweep, and will probably also be my only clean sweep of the modern tournament event, of the modern era tournament events. So 46 points to me, 33 points to Moose. Rage 2 finishes third in the end of the championship, followed by Buzz, who was fourth in the only RS. Then it was Astro in fifth with 21 points. Stephanie finished sixth in the final points, Shock was 7th, and Edge Edge 2 basically finishes last as a result of him pretty much getting lost in the streets of Tokyo, basically. So 80 grand to me and 46 points. That is all very nice. A 13-point victory in the end over Moose, and Rage 2 gets 60 grand as a result of him, I think, winning the Session 2 race. Although that could have been Moose. Anyways, moving on. And I'm also going to show you the other car I bought from the dealership whilst I was at it before going into this. And it should be in here somewhere, I think. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so the car I bought was the Porsche 911 Turbo 3.6. I should also mention, spoiler alert, this will be the car that we are using for our next event, officially. And so, now that I have got that little scuffle off my chest, let's head to the trophy room. And there it is. The Class 2 tournament trophy is now mine. And we are now pretty much 3/4 of the way there in evolution mode. And next time we will be doing the 993 trophy, which will be coming up next. And with that, stay tuned for more of Porsche 2000.